When we think of a snake attacking a human, we think of a horrifying event that could result in death. We've all seen footage of snakes squeezing their prey before swallowing them whole. But did you know that there's actually such thing as a death roll? This is a difficult question to answer because there are so many variables involved. This is a large snake, but not unheard of. Now let's assume that we have an average-sized man, about 180 centimeters tall and weighing about 80 kilograms. If this python wanted to eat this man, it would take several hours. Even though the man would be in danger, he would most likely not be killed outright. If the man is athletic, he may be able to defend himself and escape with only a few bites and scratches. They are the second largest snake in Africa, reaching lengths of up to 6 meters. Female pythons are larger than males, and they can reach a maximum length of 6 meters. Male pythons are smaller than females, and they usually reach a maximum length of 3 meters. Pythons typically live for 10 to 20 years in the wild. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Pythons are carnivorous, and they eat mammals, birds, and other reptiles. Pythons are cold-blooded animals, which means that they cannot regulate their own body temperature. They are therefore dependent on the environment to provide them with the necessary heat. Pythons are also ectothermic animals, which means that they rely on external sources of heat to regulate their body temperature. They often bask in the sun or use heat rocks to warm up. However, if the python is able to get the man into a chokehold, then the man will most likely be killed and eaten. It would take the python about an hour to kill the human by constriction, and another hour to digest the human. The size of the python, the strength of the python, the size of the man, the strength of the man, etc. Usually the snake doesn't want to eat humans because we don't taste good and we are too bony. However, if the snake is hungry enough, or if it is a particularly aggressive snake, then it may try to eat the human. Pythons are apex predators in their habitat, meaning that they are at the top of the food chain. They have no natural predators except humans. Pythons are also cold-blooded animals, which means that they need to bask in the sun or use heat rocks to regulate their body temperature. This makes them vulnerable to predators such as birds of prey. In this case, the man would need to fight back and try to get the snake off of him. It would be a tough fight, but the man would have a chance of winning if he is athletic and has some experience in fighting snakes. However, we can make a rough estimate based on the size of the python and the size of the man. The man would be at risk of suffocation, and even if he managed to break free, he would be seriously injured. Most of the time the snake will just bite the person and then let them go. This is because the snake's venom is usually enough to kill the person, and the snake doesn't want to waste its energy swallowing the person whole. In this case, the snake would probably just swallow the man whole and digest him over the next few hours. A group of snakes will surround their prey and constrict it until it dies. Then they all eat together. So how many kilos of python does it take to attack one man? On average, male African rock pythons weigh between 20 and 40 kilograms. So let's assume that we have a python that weighs about 30 kilograms. In fact, there have been cases of people surviving python attacks. If the snake manages to get the man into a chokehold, then things would be bad. There have been cases of humans being swallowed by snakes, but it is very rare for this to happen. So to answer the question, it takes about 30 kilograms of python to attack one man. A python is a non-venomous snake that is native to Africa. Pythons are solitary animals, and they only come together during mating season. The lifespan of a python depends on various factors such as diet, habitat, and predators. Overall, the average lifespan of a python is 10 to 20 years. However, some pythons have been known to live up to 30 years in captivity. And that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new.